Hi, welcome to Agile Outcomes. I'm your host, Daniel Spencer. Have you ever wondered how Agile roles fit into an existing organization? Let's say you have a structure with VPs, directors, managers, and so forth, engineers, of course. And then along comes an Agile person, a product owner, a Scrum Master. Where do they fit? Do they report into the manager? Does the manager become a Scrum Master, or does the director become an RTE to kind of align with the hierarchy? Or do they have a completely separate structure? Do you have junior Scrum Masters and senior Scrum Masters and junior product owners and senior product owners, and you have Scrum Masters reporting to release trained engineers all the way up in parallel with the existing organization hierarchy? Or do you have a hierarchy at all? Does Agile require that? If this question appeals to you, then you'd like this session. Okay, let's get down to it. Question: how do Agile roles fit within your organization? Now, to be clear, we're not talking about defining a Scrum Master role, defining a product owner role. We're assuming that's a given. You're working in an Agile fashion. However, how do these Agile roles fit given your existing org hierarchy or structure, or your talent development? How do you recruit? How do you develop career paths for such Agile folks, as they say? So on your left, you've got an org hierarchy, right? You've got VP, directors, managers, engineers. But on the right-hand side, you have an Agile team. And notice it's not laid out in a hierarchy. It's kind of a circle, and it's democratic. Everyone's equal. So how do you make these mesh? How do you fit these Agile folks into your existing org hierarchy? Or do you? Now, before we get into that, there's a couple dangers I'd like to warn you about. Danger 1, putting line authority over the teams. Danger 2, creating Agile job titles. Let's get into those. Danger 1, line authority over the teams. What is line authority? Basically, the team reports into this person, directly or indirectly. But this person now has an Agile role, so it gets kind of confusing. Let's do an example. Let's say our engineering manager becomes a Scrum Master. So you've got the org hierarchy we saw earlier. You've got the Agile team. And now we're going to move the manager over into this role. He is now the Scrum Master of the Agile team. What do you think is going to happen? Well, pretty soon the team's going to realize, hey, this isn't just the Scrum Master, this is our manager. And next thing you know, they'll be looking up to the manager in terms of direction, in terms of plans, in terms of prioritization, in terms of just about everything. Pretty soon, that orange team turns purple. And that circle shape turns into a hierarchy. So, what's the risk here? Risk is that the boss becomes the person who sets everything and determines everything. The plans are literally dictated by the manager. The voice of product and voice of process get drowned out. So now prioritization, does the product meet, the vision? Is it aligned with the roadmap? Is the prioritization right? That voice is lost. And then process will happen as well. Process will begin to get diluted. And pretty soon, guys, we got to make this date. We need to work, overtime, weekends. Pretty soon you don't have your sustainable pace, or you start cutting corners. Hey, these stand-ups, let's just cut them out. Or, hey, this sprint, let's stretch it out. Basically all kinds of changes. And, it's one thing for a team to discuss changes at a retrospective and how they'd like to improve. It's another thing for the boss just to start changing everything. So it's a big risk to self-managing teams. And then it's really an existential threat to Agile itself. So it's a risk. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there are a lot of odds in its favor. Danger number 2, Agile job titles. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say you set up job titles for junior or senior scrum master. It literally is on their badge. So let's say now you've got a director, but then what about these agile job titles? Where do they fit? So pretty soon you're opening up a whole nother hierarchy or sub hierarchy in your organization. You've got junior scrum master, senior scrum master, but then the senior scrum master reports into the manager. Okay. So is that the career path of the senior scrum master, or would it be an RTE? So maybe now we need another level for our agile folks, right? You see what's happening? We're creating a parallel path for careers. Now, of course, then we have to have the job requisitions that are all agile specific, skills, experience, don't forget certifications. But what is the career path? Do they go up to manager, director? Do they have parallel paths going up to RTE, maybe lean portfolio manager? This gets a little confusing to say the least. However, here's the real danger. Us versus them. Us meaning those doing the work, and then them meaning those agile people, those POs, scrum masters, and so forth. How might they describe each other? Well, the agile people might speak of those doing the work as stuck in their ways, lacking the agile mindset, inefficient, ineffective. However, those doing the work might speak of the agile people as out of touch with the business. They don't even know what we do, not to mention our technology. And they don't even have to do real work. They just do this agile stuff and wave their hands, the Jedi mind trick. And then aren't they kind of like an overhead? I mean, couldn't we be more efficient without those agile folks? So you see the danger here. Us versus them. Now, why do we have that? Why do we have this unnecessary dichotomy of the agile folks versus people doing the job? And which one's more important? Well, that's kind of like asking, do I need food or water? Like, of course, both are needed. The job, well, this ensures that the solutions are developed and delivered for our customers, right? I mean, you got to have these jobs. You got to have these people who know what they're doing, right? But then Agile enables the organization to work effectively and meet the business's desired outcomes. So, can't these go together? Glad you asked. Let's talk about the Agile way of working. So, the idea is to play your role regardless, permeate the org. So, for example, we have the org hierarchy again, the Agile team. If these people on the Agile team are embedded throughout the org hierarchy, not just a given line org, but across all orgs in the hierarchy, then pretty soon every group, every vertical is going to have Agile folks within it. So you're going to have an Agile way of working throughout your org. That's the idea. So that PO is really the PM under the hierarchy, and that Scrum Master is really the BA under this green hierarchy. They know who's who. So then can an engineer be the PO or Scrum Master? Absolutely. Some of the best POs and Scrum Masters, in my opinion, are engineers. Why? They're familiar with technology and the solutions that the company builds. They have a rapport with the organization already, and they've lived through some of the challenges facing teams. Think of Nirvana. Think of where this is all heading. Someday, everyone is agile. And of course, everyone excels at their job. People are basically coaching each other. And so, why would you need someone like me, an agile coach? Good question. At that point, I'd say you wouldn't. Your leadership is authentic. They set the vision. Everyone marches toward the vision. Of course, how they get there, that's delegated. You have self-directed teams. They own their solutions. They deliver. So they're empathetic as well. They understand when teams run into roadblocks that need help. And you have continuous improvement. It's the norm. That's where we're heading. So regardless of the org structure, regardless of your agile teams and the roles and job titles, this is where we're heading. Takeaways: mind the dangers, blind authority over the teams, agile job titles, and the goal is an agile way of working. That's it. Your feedback's welcome. Comments, likes. I'm Daniel Spencer. This is Agile Outcomes.